Batman's universe has some of the most memorable characters in comic book history, right? I mean, we got the Joker, we got Alfred, but we also got Robin. There's been a lot of Robins over the years, but this video is going to be talking about the first Robin, Dick Grayson. There's been a lot of interpretations of the character across so many comics, shows, movies, etc. I think the best version of the character, however, comes from the Teen Titans show back in 2003. Before I talk about why I believe this Robin is the absolute best version of the character that we have gotten, I just want to say a few things. First of all, this video is heavily opinionated, obviously, but this is my channel, so I am automatically correct on whatever I say. Also, keep in mind that this is discussing the best version of Robin, that's Dick Grayson, and not the other Robins like Jason Todd or Tim Drake. And this video is going to be discussing and focusing on Dick Grayson as Robin primarily, and not his alter ego into Nightwing. That's a video for another day. Dick Grayson is such an interesting character and has such a great personality and set of skills that I feel like he's not done justice, especially in more recent iterations of the character. For example, in the DC animated movie universe that ran from I want to say 2014 to 2020, with Justice League War starting it off to Justice League Apokolips. I forgot the title of that movie, but you know what I'm talking about if you know what I'm talking about. But Dick Grayson was done so dirty in a lot of those movies. He should have gotten more love for sure. Teen Titans, however, was an amazing cartoon that I think did Robin perfectly. Before we talk about why, let's discuss some other versions of Dick Grayson's Robin I think was done great. Young Justice had a great Robin, alright, just for an example. That was a great Robin. This version of him had great leadership, personality, which I think are two key traits of Dick Grayson. He was funny, brave, he showed his leadership skills, leading the other members of the team. I think this was a great version, but just wasn't quite the best in my opinion. There was also the version from the Batman TV show from 2004 that also featured Dick Grayson, and that was a really great Batman cartoon with really great character development for everybody. Robin there was a great character, but he was younger and had a more childlike whimsicality to him, which is a fine trait to have, and he was a great character there. But I believe the childlike whimsicality, him being a little bit more younger in that show, just didn't make him the best iteration of the character. Now we can go on for hours about each version of Robin, right? But I think you guys get the main gist. There's been so many good versions of Dick Grayson because he's a really great character. But getting all those out of the way, I think the Teen Titans Robin is the absolute best version of Dick Grayson that we have gotten so far. And let's just get started on the why. To start off, this version of Dick Grayson is a fantastic leader.
Concert's over, punk. I've heard enough. Titans, go!
It's not only because of the fact that he's the leader of the Teen Titans, and he has a strong command presence in the show amidst people who are arguably way more powerful than him, right? I mean, we got people like an alien and someone that could transform into a T-Rex that he leads. But a big reason as to why his leadership skills are really highlighted is the lack of Batman in the show, funny enough. Robin really benefits in the show with no Batman in it because it helps to make sure that he's not put in a shadow of Batman, it doesn't make him the second, doesn't take away the spotlight from him. And because of that, I think it helps to enhance his leadership skills, helps to enhance people seeing him as the go-to person, as the main focus of the show. And there has been references to Batman in the show, but other than that, we never see him, which, like I said, I think works great to make Robin stand out more. And I get how some people may be disappointed that Batman maybe wasn't in the show, but I just think it was actually really good that they didn't, because it helped showcase Dick Grayson's skills as a leader and someone as a quote-unquote go-to. And in other versions of the character, such as Young Justice, he was great there too. But that show, established that there were other heroes. I mean, the entire DC universe was essentially in that show, and they all helped each other pick up the slack and help each other out if someone needed it. But the thing I liked about Teen Titans is that it showcased Robin solving his own problems, for the most part. And if he needed help, it only branched out to the other Titans, the other characters in the show. He didn't go to Batman or any other big name for help, which I believe helped to show his confidence and how he doesn't automatically think of needing Batman's help, which gives him that sense of leadership that you kind of feel and gives him that kind of that go-to, he's the main character, main protagonist. He can do things on his own, which I think really is a good trait to have. It's his confidence that's really highlighted in the show because In other versions of Dick Grayson, he's always there with Batman or the Justice League, and they're there to kind of help him out. In most other iterations, but in this show, there is no Batman, there is no Justice League. It's really just him trusting himself, being confident in himself to be able to solve problems and do things on his own. And I think the lack of Batman, the lack of Justice League really benefits him in that aspect and really makes him stand out as a great Robin. Outside his leadership though, his personality is just really great. What I love about it is he's very mature, like already for someone of his age in the show.
So early.
I could ask you the same thing.
I love sunrise. The promise of a new day. Anything's possible.
You always so cheery this early.
Pretty much.
He's always making sure that the other Titans are okay, which is great. And you can see by the way he talks and the way he acts that he's really tough mentally and physically. But at the same time, he wasn't extremely dark and brooding, He was still making jokes, still lighthearted. Traits that are very important in the character of Dick Grayson. And I think Teen Titans balanced that perfectly because it's what I imagine someone's personality to be when they're trained by their Dark Knight. But they are also naturally just lighthearted and funny. The show balances those two personalities perfectly and molds it into like a great version of Dick Grayson. Almost damn near perfect in my opinion. I think a lot of this is also owed to the voice actor as well, Scott Menville. The voice actor fit really well for the character, and I think it's my favorite voice for the character of Robin of all time, honestly. I'm surprised I haven't used his voice for like other iterations, because I think it just fits really well with Robin. Another detail I love about this version of Dick Grayson is that although Batman's not present in the show, you can tell that Robin and him have a strong relationship and still respect and consider each other family. It's obvious because there's a bunch of references to Batman that is mentioned by Robin that imply that, he's calling him the best and considering him his father.
Who knows? I might even become like a father to you.
I already have a father.
No problem. I can help you train. I got a new computer-simulated fight sequence in the gym.
I've already trained with the best, and apparently it wasn't enough.
And some versions of Robin just don't have that aspect, Some versions of Robin have him leaving on bad terms with Batman, and it may be a plot point that some people do enjoy, but for me, it's something that I don't think fits at all with the character of Dick Grayson.
You don't know him like I do. He manipulates, pulls strings, anything to get what he wants.
I thought we had the same goals.
Things change. I changed. The game's over, Batman. I quit.
Robin, wait.
On top of all of this, this Robin is very strong physically too, very acrobatic. You could believe this Robin can keep up powerhouses in the show, like Raven. He can go toe-to-toe with people like Slade and other powerful enemies. And I really love this aspect about the character, and I really love when shows and media and movies really just hammer in the point of how strong and physically capable these characters are supposed to be. And Teen Titans does that perfectly. The way Robin fights and moves in the show is not only entertaining, but it's how you expect someone to be that's trained by Batman, that's trained to be a master acrobat would fight. And I think that's just great. And I'm really happy that they highlighted that in the show, and that's just another reason as to why he's the best version of the character. So yeah, big reasons as to why this Robin is the best is because of his leadership, especially with it being highlighted because of the lack of Batman in the show to potentially downplay him, right? His maturity is there, his sense of humor is present, his strong relationships with his friends is all there. He has great physical and mental capabilities, and he wasn't an absolute perfect character. He had flaws, like being Slade's apprentice. I guess that's not really a flaw, it's just like a plot point. But like a very well-written protagonist, he has those challenges to face. And the way it's written in the show for Dick Grayson was done very well. The writing in the show, just in general, just worked out perfectly. The writing was really well done. And they took everything that was great about Dick Grayson and amped it up to 11. And I think, I just cannot stress enough how not showing other characters like Batman, the Justice League, other heroes besides the Teen Titans was so beneficial to showing how great of a leader, how great of a character that Robin is. And I'm really glad that they went that route with the show. And I know other versions of the character do a lot of similar things, like for example, Young Justice's Robin, which I keep bringing up because it is a great version. Yeah, he does similar things, but I believe that just the aspect of the Teen Titans Robin having to rely on himself a lot other than other characters like Batman or other big names in the DC Universe really just helped to highlight his leadership skills, his decision-making skills, and everything in between. And it's not to say that the Young Justice's version of Robin can't do those things for himself, but I think it's just a subtle thing to have not showing those other characters, and it's something really distinct to me that really brings out and really stands out the great qualities of Dick Grayson that I just don't think that other versions have captured, even in the comics. And that's why I love the version of Dick Grayson from the Teen Titans TV show. He just encompasses everything that's great about the character, and like I said, amps it up to 11. Let me know what you guys think though. Be sure to support the video in any way you can. I try to put in so much effort into these videos for you guys to enjoy, for me to enjoy, for everyone to enjoy. Alright? Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Subscribe especially because there's a lot of people that watch that aren't subscribed, and I try to make these kind of videos weekly. So if you like it, be sure to keep coming back, subscribe, share it, do whatever you can to support the video, and I will see you on the next one. Goodbye, people.